started with lesson 2. Our objective is going to be how we will relate multiplication to the array model. Let's start off by doing some group counting. We're going to count to 18 by 2. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. How many times did we count by 2 to get to 18? Well, let's look. How many times did we count by 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We counted 9 times by 2 to get to 18. Now let's count by 3s to 30. Ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Let's add some equal groups. How many groups are circled? How many groups? I see 1, 2, 3 groups. 3 groups are circled. And how many are in each group? Well, we know we have 3 groups, and it appears that there are 2 dots in each group. So there are 2 in each group. So that made 3 groups with 2 in each group. Let's write this as an addition sentence. Okay, so we have 2 in each group, and we're looking at 3 different groups. So that to me sounds like we are adding 2 3 times. 2 plus 2 plus 2. That would be our repeated addition sentence. 2 plus 2 plus 2. Now we will be writing a multiplication sentence. For 3 2's equal 6. 3 2's. So let's read it and write it exactly like we hear it. 3 2's equal 6. Otherwise known as 3 times 2 equals 6. That is what this picture is showing us. How many groups are circled? Once again, I see 1 group, 2 group, 3 groups. 3 groups. And how many are there in each group? In each group, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. There are 5 in each group. 3 groups, 5 in each group. Let's write this as an addition sentence. So how many times are we adding 5? We are adding 5 1, 2, 3 times. So that would look like this. 5 plus 5 plus 5. We added 5 3 times. We are going to write a multiplication sentence representing 3 5's equal 15. Once again, we're going to write it exactly how we read it. 3 5's equal 15. Otherwise known as 3 times 5 equals 15. 5, 10, 15. Now we're at our application problem. Jordan uses 3 lemons to make 1 pitcher of lemonade. He makes 4 pitchers. How many lemons does he use altogether? Use the RDW process to show your solution. Don't forget, this RDW process is the read, draw, write solution. So, Jordan, he used 3 lemons to make 1 pitcher. So it looks like in our picture here, I have 1, 2, 3 lemons, and he's going to make 4 pitchers. So he used 3 lemons to make each pitcher. So imagine that these lemons are being used to make each pitcher. Let's start by now writing our process to show our solution. So I'm going to write it exactly like I see it. There are 3 lemons in each pitcher. They're going to make 4 pitchers. Now we have to figure out how many lemons does he use altogether. So there's a few ways we can do this. We can do repeated addition. Or we could solve our multiplication problem. Let's do both. Let's start with our repeated addition. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. Now let's solve our multiplication equation. 3 times 4, once again, in order to get to our answer, I could skip count. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 times 4 also gives us 12. We are showing our answer in 2 different ways, and we now know that Jordan used 12 lemons to make all 4 pitchers. We are going to look back at Jordan's lemons. We're going to compare the way his lemons are organized with the groups of 3 circles on our template. So this is the picture that was provided to us. Jordan's lemons, he had 3 lemons in each pitcher. He had 4 pitchers. We know he used 12 lemons. This is another way of showing our answer. It looks like we have 3 lemons, 3 lemons, 3 lemons, 3 lemons, 4 times. That still gives us a total of 12 lemons. This is called an array. I'm sure you guys recognize this. I know we worked very closely on this. Many students are noticing straight lines on the template. Let's call a straight line going across a row. So going across is our rows. 1, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. We're going to use our blank paper to cover up all but the top row. So I'm going to cover this up, all but the top row. So all that I see now is 1, 2, 3 lemons. Now I'm going to uncover one row at a time in this picture. As you uncover each row, write the new total number of circles to the right. So let's say it together instead of writing it. I'm going to uncover one row at a time. 3, 6, 9, 12. I have 4 rows, 3 in each row for a total of 12. At the signal, say the total number of circles you counted. 3, 2, 1, 12. Let's take 10 seconds to figure out how many rows of 3 we counted. Well, I already know that I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. We counted 4 rows. True or false? 10 rows of 3 circles equals 30 circles. Well, if 4 rows of 3 circles gave us 12, then 10 rows of 3 circles should in fact give us 30, because 10 times 3 equals 30. I would say that this is definitely true. We call this type of organized picture an array. My smart third graders already know this. This is more of a review for us. Now let's take a look at this array. How many rectangles are in the top row? The row going across all the way at the top. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles in the top row. The size of one row is 4 rectangles. Each row of 4 can also be called a group of 4. How many groups of 4 are there in the array? So they're saying the word row and group, the word row and group, they are synonymous to one another. They represent each other. So when you're saying the word row, you can also say the word group, and so on. So they want to know how many groups of 4 are in the array. Well, here's one group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3 groups of 4. There are 3 groups of 4 in the array. To write this equation, we must first write the number of groups. Well, from the last slide, we know that there are 3 groups. Oops. There are 3 groups. Next, we write the size of the groups. How many rectangles are in each group? So we have 3 groups, and now we have to write the size of the groups. 3 groups times how many in each group? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, right, there's 4 in each group. Now let's solve. 3 groups, 4 in each group. We're going to skip count to find the number of rectangles in this array. 4, 8, 12. There ends up being 12 rectangles in the array. We solved our multiplication problem by using an array. Our multiplication equation was 3 times 4 equals 12. We just found out the answer to the multiplication equation, and that is directly related to our array. Let's redraw equal groups as arrays. This drawing shows 3 equal groups of 5. On your personal whiteboard, redraw the picture as an array with 3 rows of 5. Of course, if you don't have a whiteboard at home, that's okay. Maybe grab a paper and a pencil out. So they're asking me to redraw the picture as an array with 3 rows of 5. So I'm going to read, draw, and write 3 rows of 5. Now I'm going to draw 3 rows just to get me started. 1, 2, 3. In each row, I'm going to read again 3 rows of 5. There are 5 in each row. Now I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have my array. We have 3 rows of 5. Now I'm going to write 3 rows of 5. For your array, feel free to use triangles, circles, squares, whatever you would like. Dots work too. Next, let's write a multiplication expression to describe your array. Remember, the expression is different from an equation because it doesn't have the equal sign. Go ahead and write the expression that we drew with our array for 3 groups of 5. Good, that expression should be 3 groups of 5. We don't need an equal sign because an expression is different than an equation. Let's skip count to find the answer to this expression. 3 times 5. 3 5 times. 5, 10, 15. Looks like we have 15 total triangles. And that is the answer to this expression, 15. Right now we have our problem set. So we are going to answer 2 questions. There's 2 parts to each of these questions. Let's use the arrays below to answer each set of our questions. Number 1A. I'll read it and then I'd like for you to pause and solve on your own. How many rows of cars are there? So we're looking at picture A and we're going to answer how many rows of cars are there. B. How many cars are there in each row? So I have this many cars and I want to know how many cars are there in each row, just one row. Number 2, I'm looking at a new picture now. These look like objects, oranges maybe. Number 2A, what is the number of rows? So how many rows are there in this whole picture? And letter B, what is the number of objects in each row? Once again, how many objects are there in each row? I'm going to go ahead and give you all a moment. Feel free to please pause the video while you complete these 4 problems. All right, guys, let's review. How many rows of cars are there? So I'm looking at this picture. How many rows? Well, I know rows go straight across. So it looks like I have 1 row, 2, 3, 4 rows. I have 4 rows. And how many cars are there in each row? Each row has the same number of cars, and I see 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There are 2 cars in each row. Number 2, letter A. What is the number of rows? So I have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. 3 rows here. And lastly, what is the number of objects in each row? So I have 3 rows. I have the same number of objects in each of them. I'm going to count 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 objects in each row. Let's move on. Good job, guys. We've come to our exit ticket. This is the last part of our lesson for the day. Our exit ticket, I'll read the questions to you. I'd like to give the video a pause for you to answer, and then we can review. Number 1A, there are 4 rows of stars. How many stars are in each row? Okay. Number 1B, write a multiplication equation to describe the array. So it's an equation, so I am going to be looking for an equal sign. There should be an answer. Number 2, Judy collects seashells. She arranges them in 3 rows of 6. 3 rows of 6, okay? Don't forget to use the read, draw, write strategy. Draw Judy's array to show how many seashells she has altogether. Then, write a multiplication equation to describe the array. So this is a 2-part problem, guys. Go ahead and pause the video. (1A), there are 4 rows of stars. How many stars are in each row? So they tell us that there's 4 rows. I see 3 stars in each row. The answer is 3. Next, we're going to write a multiplication equation to describe the array. So we're going to write what we see. We see 4 rows. We see that there are 3 in each row. We can go ahead and skip count to get to our answer. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4 rows of 3 gives us 12 stars. Number 2, let's read it. Judy collects seashells. She arranges them in 3 rows of 6. Draw Judy's array to show how many seashells she has altogether. Then write a multiplication equation to describe that array. So using the RDW, read, draw, write strategy, we're going to start. We are going to read the problem. She arranges them into 3 rows of 6. Now we're going to draw the array. 3 rows. I'm going to start doing 1, 2, 3 rows. In your array, you should have 6 in each row. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have the array that represents Judy's seashells. 3 rows of 6. Now we're going to write a multiplication equation to describe this array. So we read it, we drew it, now we're going to write it. We're going to write it exactly how we see it. 3 rows of 6 gives us how many total seashells? Let's skip count. 6, 12, 18. 3 rows of 6 gives us 18 seashells. Good job, guys. I hope you felt successful during this exit ticket and this whole lesson. I know that this is a review for many of us, but from here on out, we're going to be working on those foundational strategies to get us ready for 4th grade next year. Thanks for listening, and I can't wait to see you guys on Zoom on Wednesday. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.